don't look like
now you look like a fucking samurai.
I stopped looking like a hobo.
You look like a samurai in the making.
You look like a Kurt Cobain fan.
She's a knockoff, like
what the fuck was that?
You have
Rocket Cola version.
and you're a handsome guy.
Thanks.
Ow, my heart!
I think you're a very handsome guy.
All right.
I think you'd be a catch for a lady, truthfully.
Yeah, thanks, Stamper. But can I just tell one story relating to that?
You absolutely can.
So this is
your stick.
Oh my!
Wow, that's great.
Dude,
So
put
this
back
is-
in your pants, dude.
This is off topic, but me, Zach, Chris, and Corey went to John's house, Jontron, and we went to the Nintendo store one day in Rockefeller Center.
The Nintendo store.
Yeah, but it was closed. But
Elaborate.
But a fan came up to Jontron and was like, "Are you Jontron?" And John was like, "Yeah, you know, he's doing the whole thing." He was like, "Yeah." They got a picture and all that stuff. And then John goes, "This guy here is Brad Pitt." Just to me, he pointed at me, and then the guy just goes, "Well, you're not looking very good," and just walks away. Like, I know I'm not Brad fucking Pitt, but come on, let's be honest. Like, don't hurt my feelings like that. I was hoping one day maybe.
You get plenty of fucking attention from people.
That hurt my feelings just a little bit. Like, I know I'm not Brad Pitt, but at the same time, the fact
Dude,
that
I had a whole group of people saying that I looked like I was a product of radioactive exposure.
How do you feel about that?
Niall, that was your story, really?
I got made fun of.
It's almost like that story came right out of Ireland.
wait, what was that? What was that, Nick? What are you guys trying to say right here?
That was an Irish story.
You got fucked. You need an intentional thing to put on yourself. So
you need a joke. You should have been like what you expected him to be is like when you said Brad Pitt. Then you could have been like, well, you look like a fucking...
No, I would say if he was like, yeah, well, you're not looking really good. And he's like, yeah, I miss Jennifer.
No, next time that happens,
but that's not actually what happened, though.
You say...
I'm not that sharp.
You say, nah, I look like Brad shit, and then you grab him and kiss him on the mouth, and then you send him away.
But this guy, what's a handsome black guy? Denzel Washington. This guy was no Denzel Washington himself. You know? So why is he coming up to me and saying,
I don't know. You have to be self-deprecating.
Well, that may be true.
We were talking about that before, dude.
Life is always going to be weird.
If you put everything out there, all your flaws out into the world, there's nothing anyone can say that can hurt you. Because you've already put it all out there. If they call you out on something, if they make fun of you, guess what? You've already said it 100 times, and everybody already knows.
But I thought about this. If Brad Pitt,
Bulletproof.
If Brad Pitt is a 10, he's the standard of male good-looking.
Let me tell you something. Brad Pitt is like a fucking 6 now. He's like 90 years old.
Dude, he's 50 and he's still a fucking 9.85.
Well, I'm not jerking off to Brad Pitt every night, all right?
You're not gay. But like the thing is, Brad Pitt, if he's the standard who is
as far as he knows.
Okay, so he's known as like the male Adonis of this year. Like he's like the male.
More like Hugh Jackman. High five, anyone?
Let's not get into semantics here. But basically,
who cares about Hugh Jackman?
So basically,
he's the male Adonis.
Matthew McConaughey.
Being good-looking these days is how close you resemble Brad Pitt.
No, you just asked me when did you guys stop doing religion, and then you were like, oh, I got made fun of at Nintendo store.
And now we're talking about fucking dudes.
I'll get back to that. But if Brad Pitt is the standard,
Flabby Pitt, go on.
Is the standard that you have to live up to?
Yeah, Brad shit.
Yeah. All right, let me just finish my thought. Right?
Bad shit.
So if he's the standard that you have to live up to these days, so you're obviously never going to look exactly like Brad Pitt. You're not going to look as much as he does. Okay. So you're not going to look. So if he's the 10, you're obviously going to be under that. If he's, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of drunk, guys.
I look like John Oliver.
Yeah, you do.
You do. But you're cuter than John Oliver.
Yeah, you're cuter. But anyway, so when did we start losing our religion?
Stop. Let me tell you something.
You're the one who told them to go back to it.
I know, but I guarantee that Brad Pitt has never made a lady laugh before.
Yeah, Brad Pitt.
What?
That's not true.
No,
That's a terrible
dude.
man.
He's the kind of guy who's hilarious and has a huge dick, and there's just nothing you can do about it. There's a quote.
I don't think it's hilarious, but I think he's definitely made a girl laugh.
I'm pretty sure he's got.
Name one comedy movie that Brad Pitt has ever been in. There's 3 guys sitting here. Name one.
I don't even know Brad Pitt.
Burn After Reading.
Oh. That movie sucked.
What's the one where he was a stoner?
That's not a comedy movie. True Romance?
Yeah.
That's not a comedy movie. It's a great movie.
He was a
Name one that's not like an obscure fucking black comedy. Name one where he's been funny.
You're lowering the categories. You're fucking changing the variables.
No, but however,
you know what?
That motherfucker is old, and useless.
I agree. He's Flabby Pitt. That was my retort.
Flabby Pitt.
Yeah, I'm sure that would hurt his feelings, and you go home and be like,
David
God,
Beckham.
that guy
David Beckham has like the personality of a fucking cardboard.
I'm
cutout.
so sorry if Brad Pitt is a
But
fan
that
of this
guy has
What if he's like the
plenty of
biggest fan of
fucking.
this?
Nick, it's not mutually
Brad Pitt was the
exclusive though.
biggest fan.
It's not mutually exclusive. I think Brad Pitt could be funny, but like he actually is quoted on saying, "I'm the kind of guy that everybody else hates because my genetics are so good," or something like that. He's like, I was just born with like the best genetics possible. Sorry.
That's fucking hilarious. Move on. Back to religion.
So when I lost my religion, it was when I was like 16 or 17. I started watching like YouTube videos because I wanted to believe in God. I didn't know what Pascal.
Then you read a comment section and then that was
I didn't know what Pascal.
Fuck, God is dead.
I didn't know what Pascal's wager was when I was that age.
Yeah.
And Pascal's wager is basically like, all right, so there's two scenarios: God exists and God doesn't exist. If you believe that God exists, you're going to heaven. If you believe that God doesn't exist, you're not going to heaven. If heaven doesn't exist, that's fine. If you believe God exists, you're happy. You'll just rot for eternity. But like basically, it's like a 2 out of 3. Most scenarios it wins because if you just believe in God, you'll go to heaven. If it doesn't exist, then you won't notice because you'll be dead. So that's Pascal's wager. So I kind of fell for that, and I was looking at religious videos to believe in it. But the more religious videos I watched,
Believe in it to make sure you were right.
yeah. So the more religious videos I watched, the more holes I found in it, and the more like I found out how stupid it was, and that's just how I stopped believing in it. I never gave it much thought until then. So it was.
I don't
when
even
started
think-
thinking
Well,
about
for me,
I like how
No,
technology was introduced into your world. You're sitting
And then
here
it
like
ruined it.
looking at like it's like I need to pull up religious videos
To reinforce your beliefs.
but I didn't know much.
yeah, but for me, like you asked me, but for me it was back when I was questioning like the Disney fucking fantasy stories I heard. Like I told you, like fucking, how is some dude gonna get
Prince of Egypt?
How is
No, he means the Disney fantasy story.
Yeah, like Moses splitting the fucking sea, and some dude making a boat for a flood that fucking put every one animal on the fucking boat.
Yeah.
Or every kind of animal.
Not to mention that the only human survivors of that would have been some old man and his 3 daughters.
Exactly.
Oh,
like to
shit.
me,
No one really talks
to
about
me,
that. We don't
that
go into
just
that.
Yeah,
seems.
we don't bring that
listen,
up anymore.
into that.
All right, you don't have to be like a fucking genius to know that if you put a lion with a chicken in the same room or on the same boat, or even a lion and some other small animal, the lion is gonna fucking kill the animal. Completely pointless. They try to
You
throw
read
these
into
little
that a
stories.
lot.
No, it's just like common sense. Like
Here's
it's
what I
like-
want to know with Noah's Ark. What were they feeding the lions?
Exactly. No, they said they had food, wheat. Lions eat.
Lions don't eat wheat. They had to kill off some.
That's the name of the podcast. Lions don't eat wheat.
That's why they brought fucking like 8 fucking things of chickens because they were gonna have to feed them.
God gave.
Yeah, they doubled up on the chickens.
And the lambs because they're gonna have to feed those. to the wolves.
God gave the chickens passaways and said if they have babies, feed them to the lions and other smaller animals because it's a dog-eat-dog world.
Got it.
And God understands.
It was its own
that.
ecosystem.
Well, that's what I was
essentially.
saying. It's like people are looking at this now and they're saying, you know what? I know those are ridiculous, but they are guidelines. They just feel they're guidelines.
But it's like also like those creationists.
But it's nonsense. It's complete it's clearly, obviously nonsense.
But it's like the people who believe that the Grand Canyon was created from Noah's Ark, and it's like
the Grand Canyon was when I walked to my grandma's house and dragged my pee-pee on the ground. Nigga.
Where's the
Where's the canyon there? Come on.
But in contrast to where like Moses was, it's not even in the same fucking area.
Yeah.
So it's like, how did he make this boat and then pick it up and lift it?
Didn't they flood
a few
the
million
planet?
yards?
Yeah, it was supposed to be the whole planet, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't like Evan Almighty where they flooded downtown New York and the rest of the world was cool.
Yeah.
That was fucking terrible.
It was totally fucking terrible.
Came and it was just like a giant tidal wave.
All these
carrying
panda
the
bears
boat.
came from fucking China, jumped on a boat, and traveled a block, got off, and then went home.
Evan Almighty was actually the first movie I've ever walked out of before it finished, like
me?
in
That's
theaters.
too bad. I never.
I like
saw
Steve
it.
Carell though; he's cool.
Yeah.
He got a big.
Never
fat
mind what he does for money.
He got a
but-
big fat paycheck.
I mean, I never, like I said, I never had religion, like, really in my life, at least not that I knew about. It was never imposed in my life.
This is the religious podcast. I remember not long ago we were at a bar thinking, okay, we'll touch on religion and then we'll talk about potato chips.
Oh, yeah, no, we'll get to the potato chips. We still got some time.
And then now it's like, oh, you meant potato chips. I thought you were talking about chips because
Because
in
I'm Irish.
Ireland they called
Fries
chips.
Also made of potatoes.
Also made of potatoes.
Which is an Irish emblem.
That's fair.
Is it? The potato?
Man,
not-
you
it's
guys
not the
are
emblem.
fucking pathetic, man. That's all you have.
What are you talking about? They make whiskey
potato
and
tenant.
they got Guinness.
That was unfair. Cut all that.
It's pretty much
I'm so fucking sorry.
your
I just
blood is
fucking-
made of that shit.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Even if you had no Irish heritage, now your blood is Irish.
Ireland, please forgive me. I love you so much.
I was gonna say that, but as I got older, I mean, I was always kind of like looking for God a little bit. Not looking, but I was always very open to
Yeah.
it. I ended up
So
in
was I,
like
though.
weird Christian youth groups, even though I wasn't Christian. All sorts of weird ass shit.
Human beings search for
Yeah, but you're
purpose
like
and
that's
reason.
that's just
Yeah.
that's natural. When you're
Exactly.
younger,
Yeah.
you look for whatever.
So
you-
now I've just kind of like I've settled into the idea that I don't believe in God. I'm not saying there is no God. There's just nothing that's made me believe
and
that.
that's a stance that a lot of people take. I take the
Right.
exact same
And
stance.
that I would just rather lay back on my Buddhist roots, and that's pretty much what
Like,
I.
Buddhists are harmless.
pushing
It's what
through.
Pam-
right, and it's not even a religion more than it is just a set
It's
of
just
values
yeah,
and beliefs.
and they're good values too.
It's what. Hold on. It's what Stamper said. Stamper said people just want to find like value or like they want to find purpose. So they want to find the reasons for things that happen. Like you see these stories of people like, oh, I had a near-death experience where I saw a white light and all this stuff. But it's been proven that the same experience can be held in like those things where people go in space shuttles or go around really
Yeah.
fast.
And
they
you know
have
what?
the same
Can I
experience.
can I
and
expand
then,
on that?
hold on. And they both see like the same thing. And it's like you put two and two together and then you start questioning all these other things. Like you start questioning like spirits and stuff and you're like, so you wonder why these people who go around with these little electric boxes to like outlets that get like huge like lightings things or they see like lightings and stuff. It's like it could be so much other things because
I would love to see a ghost. Honestly, people
would
say like,
too.
would you be scared?
I would
No,
too.
because then I would know that there was more
I
than
would
this.
too. I mean, like,
never
I've
fucking
seen
seen
it.
it.
I have never
I would be
fucking
amped.
seen it.
I would be amped.
It seems like everybody growing up in my life has seen and felt.
No, they say they do.
No, but they've
Yeah, I haven't.
experience I've
Ghost
had
stories are
with
very fun to
noises
discuss.
and seeing shadows, but I have never seen a
I'm going to
ghost.
say one thing, and then I'm going to let Niall talk. When I was, again, back to what Mick was saying about fucking brainwashing, when I was in the second or third grade, a teacher from a neighboring classroom, she, like, borderline died, right? So she came in to talk to all of us. She stood up in front of the class and told everybody about how she was about to die, and she went to heaven. And she saw all these pink clouds, and life was great. And then she sat and talked to us about the afterlife and how heaven is waiting for us, and it's great. This is in public school.
Yeah, see, that's not
dude.
fact.
She
Because,
sat there and she fucking told us that. And I think back to that, and I'm like, are you...
That's
because when you die, Stamper, what you call it?
Like, granted, I understand that I'm not gonna write off anything that she saw.
No,
but at the same time,
that always- you
to come to
should.
fucking class and say that heaven exists and that and that
You shouldn't. I'll tell you why.
It always made me mad because it's like a teacher coming back. Oh, you get all the fucking ice cream you want. It's the best. You all should think about hanging yourself.
But we all respected her because she was like 96 years old, and we all sat and looked up at her, and we were like,
She was a wise
Stamper,
sensation.
like,
So-
yeah, this is a fucking this is it.
It's
Like,
not a
this
fact.
is proof.
You
this
can't
is
take that.
This is proof.
Yeah.
You can't
and
take
this
that
is
as
shit that drags behind you for the next fucking 10 years of your life before you write it off.
You can't take that as proof though, because when you die, it's like it's been proven that like your brain and your pineal gland in your brain, which also is known as your third eye, releases this chemical
Pineal.
called
Third eye.
dimethyltryptamine, which is a chemical that is the same chemical that releases when you dream. So dimethyl
And do drugs.
Yeah, there's a drug called
Psychedelics.
there's a psychedelic called DMT, which you can smoke, or you can do this other version of it called ayahuasca, which lasts longer. I don't know, something about that. But dimethyltryptamine releases from your pineal gland, and pretty much it has the same effect in dreams, and it stops the trauma of death. So so you're pretty much dreaming as you die, and like when you're dying, you think of heaven because that's what else are you thinking of? You're like, I hope I go to heaven. So like you're gonna dream of heaven. Like that's what happens. That's what people think.
Listen,
Makes sense.
life is
Wrong, maybe. Makes sense. though.
Stamper.
It's probably more right than the alternative.
Life is
Well,
like
I'm so used to getting corrected by people in YouTube comments.
Stamper.
Let him.
Life is like a hurricane. Here in Duckburg.
Oh God.
Are you gonna start singing the DuckTales theme now? We're waiting for it.
Why didn't you whip
Wait,
out your
stop.
trombone?
Wait, that was the DuckTales thing, wasn't it? Like a hurricane.
Here in Duckburg. bird.
Sing with authority, asshole.
Something.
Come on. Come on.
We're in Duckburg.
What's the?
You don't know the words. All you know is Duckburg. Duckburg.
Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales. Exactly. Now do the Darkwing Duck theme song.
Darkwing Duck.
Let's get dangerous.
Darkwing Duck.
When there's trouble, you call DW.
Darkwing Duck.
All right, tailspin.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Tailspin, the cartoon, dude. What was her name? Kit? Was that her name? The girl?
No, Cloud Kicker was the kid. that,
Oh,
like,
whoops,
used to
never mind.
I think you're thinking about Rescue Rangers.
No,
Fucking
Gadget? No.
Oh, Rescue
no, but
Rangers,
Tailspin had a
dude.
girl too.
Gadget.
What about-
fucking hot?
Yeah, she was. You wanted to get
Take that
that.
little
You wanted
jumpsuit
to do
off.
Inspector Gadget?
I'm gonna wrap that bitch in duct tape and
She had a-
shit out
she
of
had
her
a-
so she doesn't
dude,
pop.
she-
You know what I'm saying?
She had some fine little mice titties and a butt.
I know.
And then she's like working on her little tiny little fucking race car.
She
And
definitely
she's like
had
bent
a
over
butt.
the fucking chipmunk.
She was psyched just to do her own work. And you know she wanted to fuck on the side too.
Yeah, but she was
was
busy
down
working.
for
She
it.
was. She was kind of like, guys, get off me. I got work to do.
Whatever.
She was a strong, independent woman. At
No,
the
she
time.
was.
And then at the end of the day,
She
she
was not
wants to
good.
go home and just let a man take control.
Pee all over her.
She just wants to let loose because she had such a stressful day. She wants somebody else to give her orders. I could see that. I could see that now.
That's what you did.
Life is.
It was great. It was a great night of jerking off.
Stamper, can you paint my nails?
You want Stamper to paint your nails? Look at the hack job he did on himself.
That was a horrible job.
Pretty good from here, though.
Yeah, from there.
Yeah, take a look over here. You painted his fucking ear.
No, you're fucking. You and your eyes. You're like a Highlander. You're beautiful. It's great.
Yeah, no, I think I do have decent eyes, but right under my eyes are big, dirty eye bags that ruin them.
No.
He's gonna bang his contacts out one day, and we're gonna know his secret.
Yeah, dude, nobody ever said that about Benicio del Toro.
Oh, yeah, he
all
does.
the girls are all up in his shit, and they weren't like, look at those
Yeah,
big
but he's
saggy bags.
He's
on her neck.
Benicio del Toro, though. I'm Niall.
Yeah, he looks like fucking shepherd's pie. If you look at his face, he's a fucking mess.
They don't see that.
I always thought he looked like a human version of like Frankenstein or some shit. Just
Did we
like
get off
that ghoulish look in his eyes.
religion? Was that over?
When did you lose religion?
Remember when Duck Jesus
When
came
did you
to
lose
Duckburg?
religion?
I casually lost it.
You just
That's what I'm
lost
saying.
it. You had
That's
a hole
what
in
I'm
your
saying.
pocket and just little grains of
Oh, you're
sand.
one of those guys who's so cynical that you're like,
Over time.
I'm sick and fucking tired of people calling me cynical. I'm the most positive guy ever.
No, you're not cynical, but you're one of those guys who's like, just shit happened to you that you were like, God could not possibly exist. You didn't think of it like, you didn't like do the research. Like,
Here's how I lost
Not that it's a
religion.
bad thing. It's
Here's how I lost religion. One day I was like, oh, you know what? You thank God for everything that you did. I went through the hardest shit ever, and I did it by myself. He didn't do fucking
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. I
And I
didn't
was
mean
like,
I didn't even mean you're cynical
Alright.
in a Jeff sense of cynical. I meant you were
you're
cynical
paying-
in the fact that like
you can't say that on this podcast because he's part of the podcast.
he knows he's cynical though.
Yeah, he is a cynical piece of shit.
He knows he's cynical. That's his shtick though. You can't like deny your shtick.
Yeah.
My shtick is being a dumb
So
Irish guy.
You
My
sit,
stick is 8 inches long, baby.
you sit and you eat. Oh, thank you God for all this
me
food.
neither.
It's like I worked so fucking hard for this food. Fuck you,
You gotta
God.
pay your Jesus tax.
Fuck you.
You gotta pay your Jesus
Pay your Jesus tax.
Yeah.
On the bread rolls and the ham that you fucking planned for 2 weeks.
That's what it is. When you go to church and appease your sins, you're paying all your taxes back for all the bad you've done. You're like, oh God, holy fuck, I haven't paid my Jesus tax in like 14 years.
All right, so hold on. Let me say
Whoops,
this.
sorry, I jacked off in a sock.
Hold on. So,
Sorry, God.
So, Stamper,
Like he doesn't jack off in giant God socks.
Stamper,
He doesn't.
if this goes for everyone, but if
That's
God,
where my cum goes.
dude, if God did
Jacked
exist,
off,
no,
giant
he did
cum
exist,
sock.
and he fucking came down and he showed his face, and it looked like Mufasa's head in the fucking clouds, and it was we all saw it, and he was like, guys, listen, I just want to clear some shit up. I do exist. Alright, I'll see you later.
Actually, does this part of Ireland?
No. If he said, no, if he said
jerk
this,
off in a
no,
sock.
more specifically, if he came down and he said, guys, I did this, not only did
That's
he
where
come
my
down,
cum goes.
not only did he come down from the sky or in the clouds, he formed his big face in the clouds like Mufasa, and he said, humans of Earth, I am God. Listen, I'm sorry I was away. I was a little busy. I wasn't checking my messages. Apparently, a lot's been happening while I was gone. Listen, the Bible is all true. No matter how weird it sounds, I was involved. Yes, this
He's like,
big
just-
face in the clouds. This is clearly impossible. Well, guess what? Noah's Ark, Moses, it's all true.
That's a good God voice.
And then he said, if y'all want to get into heaven, just follow the book and listen to the church. I'll see you guys
But if
in
he said
heaven.
something like,
It's like, you're a little late, dude.
No, wait. Now he said that,
Like, super
right?
late.
Would you then go to church and do all the shit?
only if he said like, I know it sounds fucked up in the Bible, but listen, I have my reason. It sounds fucked up, but seriously, just come on, man, just believe, right? You'll know what I mean.
It's like, man, I can't even pass my fucking driving test. You think I'm gonna read your fucking Bible to get all the shit right?
You would say that to God.
Yeah.
If God really appeared and was actually real.
And then Satan's fucking strings that were controlling me in my mouth. Exactly.
Jokes
That's what I would
aside,
say.
I'd be like, listen, dude. Maybe after I pay my rent.
Seriously, I'd be like, listen, I cannot fucking read this book. It's like, maybe I'll take Zach's advice and read a book 30 minutes before I go to bed, but you're gonna have to understand this needs to expand a little bit. I can't tell time, I gotta set mini goals. It's like, okay, so.
And you know what, truthfully, I'd be like, you know what, faggot? I would love to sit on high and judge people all day. It'd be so much fun. Maybe you should stop eating so much fucking cheese. Maybe you should fucking do this. It's great.
Hey, you know what?
I would love to do that.
What if he goes? What if he said? What if he said?
I'm so
Although,
fucking sorry you're sitting on clouds and life is perfect for you right
what if he
now.
goes? Yo, like all those fucking African children, we kind of need them. That's why we're making them starve, and we need like as many African children as possible. I won't. He's like, we fucking need these African children, man. You'll know when you get there, okay? Just trust me. What would you say? I don't know that.
I like how God's having a heart with only you.
Yeah, he's trying to like.
Really trying to justify himself.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's them.
He's like, hey, I'm gonna get all the clouds. I'm gonna come in the human form.
I'm gonna make your fucking
Stamper, I'm giving you all I got, Stamper.
What if he didn't come out of the clouds though, and he was like 4'3", and he was like kind of a midget, and he was like,
Hey guys, I'm God. I just really want to look. I'm doing magic. I'm putting fire in my hand.
and he just put fire in his hand. He's like,
Yeah. Okay. So anyway,
and he's looking up at you, and he's like,
And Jesus,
So fucking-
and Jesus is like way bigger, and he's like, Dad, oh my
Dad, you're
God.
embarrassing me. and he's like, Dad, you give me back my roller
What
skates,
if
Dad.
Jesus comes down and
This
like,
roller skate, there's one beer left. Who wants
know,
to
oh,
split
it's
it with
fine.
me?
I would just.
I don't want to.
Anytime I hear about like Jesus coming down, I'd only want him to come down like Thor comes down.
No,
like
no,
he'd
no,
come
no.
down like a comet,
No.
hit the pavement, and there's like a fucking crater left by him. But he's just wearing his like nice little robes, but he
No.
clearly has like the density of like fucking star.
so after God does the speech, Jesus comes and he's like carrying a bunch of papers from heaven and he's like, running down. And he's giving out people and they're like, what is this? He's like, oh, my son, he wrote a new book. I need you guys also to read this. And tell me what you think because he's kind of a little
me some
nervous about
criticism.
writing again.
Yeah,
You know, most people just want him to sign it.
Yeah, dude.
Like a convention.
But the Bible is
I'd
actually
be like, yo, where were you during 9/11? You remember that? That was pretty fucking bad.
Stanford. Like the Bible has actually been written.
I was writing my book.
I was actually more concerned where Spider-Man was when that shit happened.
Actually, that's true. I would be too. I'd be like, come save me,
But it was fucking Spider-Man, please.
Yeah, we'll let you
What
out on the
happened?
street.
You know, there.
All you had to do was throw webs up between the twin towers. And
We're
just
talking
catch the
about-
planes.
You guys are talking about how you think most of the population is religious.
Most of the population.
Okay, but we've seen plenty of. I've seen plenty of videos where like people don't even know. Like if they show a picture of Jesus next to a picture of like fucking Spider-Man, they'll point out Spider-Man 100% of the time, and like 70% or 60% of the time they can figure out who Jesus is.
Yeah, that's confirmation bias though. That's more like people watching those videos.
That's world bias. It's like, what was...
I'm just saying, kids today,
No, yeah,
10 years old and younger, do you think they believe that Spider-Man is more real than Jesus?
Yes!
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They relate more.
This is
It's relatability.
This is where the world is going. What was that recent thing that they just released where it was like the McDonald's logo is more recognizable than the cross?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Stanford, this actually is because recently Zayn left One Direction. And a lot of his fucking fans
Cut for Zayn.
cut for Zayn.
Cut for Zayn right now.
They all cut for Zayn. They cut their wrists because this dude left One Direction. And
A fucking band that's not going to exist in 6 months. It's going to be done and over with.
it's a blood sacrifice is what they're doing. They're more. That's because Zayn is more recognizable to the fucking young population.
Yeah, Jesus.
Then Jesus
band is
fucking
He's
Christ.
more valid.
And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing.
No, you know Jesus is looking
More
down,
relatable.
just like shaking his head, like he's just so jealous that
Yeah,
so
he's
many
like,
people are willing to cut themselves for some fucking kid that nobody fucking cares
But he
about.
shouldn't
5
be
years.
because it's
He
all in
shouldn't.
his image. It's One Direction to God.
Yeah,
Heaven.
but I thought that was very interesting when I saw like I know it was very sad that these fucking kids are cutting themselves, but like it is actually the same thing as like people sacrificing themselves for
Teenagers are fucking
Jesus.
stupid. It's fine.
I know, but it's like the human mentality is what it like the horde mentality of like just trusting in someone so much or believing in someone so much that like
Who the fuck came
Face-
up with
face
the
down.
idea to cut themselves because of it and started this shit train
but that's
that
my-
a whole bunch of fucking little girls jumped on to fucking get attention on Twitter? Who the fuck started
Nick,
it?
that's my
Whoever
point.
that is, they should have really cut for Zayn and just fucking cut their own head off.
But Nick,
that
that's-
is so fucking stupid.
But Nick,
They
that's my
should-
point though. This shit has been going on for eternity. It's in the human psyche to do that shit. You know what I mean? Like people fucking kill sheep for
What would
fucking
you
God.
do?
Why would God want a fucking sheep?
What would you do if you got like so popular? You were like the sleepy cast Zayn.
Oh, God.
And then you were like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking move to New York. I'm done with this shit. And everyone was like, cut for Niall.
I would make a video. I would absolutely make a video, make a public appearance, and I'd be like, you know what? If any of you cut yourself because of this, you were never a true fan.
Yeah, no, I'd do that. I'd make a video and be like,
To
dude, I
absolutely
fucking
stop. I do not respect any of you.
You know what?
who do
Truthfully,
this.
that motherfucker should do that. He
should.
spend 2 seconds on Vine and be like, stop.
Yeah, that's it. Stop. That's
Not
it.
even 2
That's
seconds.
all you had to say.
Half a second. Just like, stop.
One word on Twitter.
Stop.
Just stop.
and just put the hashtag Cut for Zayn. Just stop.
Stop. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Stop.
Baby, you light up my world like nobody else. So when you did your balls you don't know you're beautiful. I'm skipping that shit.
No, you're not. That should have been the closing right there.
That's a hot song, though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
It's always
super
the
catchy.
go-to song. It's like that song. No matter if a song gets caught in my head, if I'm just doing something, it doesn't even matter if I'm jerking off.
That was on
or if
purpose, though. They
if I'm
think.
changing. It's just like suddenly I hear like.
Yeah, but Corey,
Corey, shut the fuck up.
they got
Let
the
me tell you something.
They got the formula for catching us down. Like they knew that was catchy.
That song is going One Direction to my playlist.
I don't even know that song, and I'm happy I do.
Are you fucking?
I bet he
I
does.
don't.
I bet he does.
know you're beautiful.
Nope, I don't.
You're insecure. You're beautiful.
I know obscure
It doesn't even matter.
SoundCloud
You're so fucking beautiful.
French artists. That's all I know.
And fucking video game music.
And video game music.
We talked about religion for an hour and 42 minutes.
And One Direction for about 1.5 minutes.
So wait, we can't stop. I actually don't think there's a whole lot to cut out, which is kind of good.
Yeah, but I still want to keep going though. Unless you don't want to
go.
No, we're good. So
Unless you don't want to.
So wait, guys.
There's no rule
Yeah.
that it has to be
God,
like
now
a
that
fucking
sounds
hour
stuck in my
and 20
fucking
minutes.
head.
Don't think about it.
That was just the standard. Like
So listen, we covered.
So guys,
So going directly from just this is a little off topic, but it's related. Potato chips.
Yeah.
What about them? Where do they come from? What do they taste like?
They come from potatoes, which are they're cut really firmly and they're fried.
Shit.
They're
That's a
fried.
short conversation.
They're fried, Mick.
What's your favorite potato chip?
And seasoned.
Did you ever get a potato chip right and you'd be eating it and it's fucking like green and you just don't know what to do?
Yeah,
with
but
it?
that's when you
I
were
have
young.
never gotten a green
No,
chip.
they.
I
have.
No.
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, is that
with
like the
green
really ripe potato
And
chip?
You're
Yeah.
terrified of it. Like you think your whole batch of potato chips is fucking ruined. The first time I got a green potato chip,
that's because you
I
play
fucking
video
lost
games
my
when you're a
mind.
kid and you think it's the poison chip.
Yeah, exactly. I told my mom because I was like spitting it out in my hand and crying, and I'm like, poison. And she told me it's just it wasn't, you know, like the light didn't hit it.
Listen, what's your favorite potato chip?
That was my question.
My favorite? Here's something that I don't get.
I like sour cream cheddar.
Yeah.
Oh, sour cream. That's number one for me.
Sour
Number
cream
one.
cheddar rips up my tongue.
And you know what? I really like salt and vinegar chips, and everyone else is a fucking
I love
bitch
them.
about
Shut
it.
up.
I think it's okay, but I can't eat a lot because then it starts like tasting like
it
Italian.
can't
Start to eat a
actually-
hole in your mouth.
Yeah, no, it does burn the sides of your mouth.
It's
Let me tell you something. That's a man